It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
With Ease US makes studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator. The You Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. You Like.
Let's go. The Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics. We couldn't be happier. We really couldn't be happier. A day like today is a huge day. First of all, thanks to Slovacics, Socorro Family Ford, Crawford Austin Properties. I haven't seen my buddy Gordon Harriman up here recently, but if you want commercial real estate, that's the best guy in town. Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, of course. First National Bank of Central Texas. We're going to be talking to Dan Ingham coming up at, I guess, like 11:45. But after we talk to Jeff Pearlman about his new Tupac book, Only God Can Judge Me. So we'll do about 10 minutes now, go to break. And I want to make sure we have all the time with Jeff. Scotty, we could just possibly go from Jeff right to Dan, which will be fine. So I wake up this morning and I messaged Scotty. I was like, hey, this is what I really want to talk about. The Mavs and the basketball season that's starting. And, you know, is Cooper Flagg going to play point guard, which is like crazy. And then I started to get resentment about the NBA. I'm like, why do they start now? I mean, like literally the NBA season in September, October, November is just like, it's just like mushy. And what I mean is like, you don't know what's what. I'm telling you, there's preseason games on last night. Is this the opener? Is it not? When does the season start? It starts October 21st. I mean, I used to work in the NBA, right? And I do feel like it had a little bit more gravitas back then, like the start of the season did. It was in November. I remember the first game I ever worked in Charlotte was November 4th, 2004. That was the first game in the organization's history, that reiteration of the Charlotte team, which became the Hornets. But the early in the season now, it was my world. It was my bubble. So it was everything. And I think that's where the NBA gets a little mixed up. I think they're so consumed with themselves. They don't realize how marginal of a player they are in the overall zeitgeist this time of year. It gets swallowed up by the NFL and college football and playoff baseball. And then you go down the stretch, right? And Christmas Day has been taken from the NBA by the NFL. The NBA should start their season on Christmas Day. And literally, if it had to end at July 29th, and I know you got to figure out all this stuff with the draft and summer league, figure it out, because the NBA is relevant. It makes a lot of money. There's no question about it. But to stay one step ahead of the sheriff and to monitor its popularity, I think you do need to kick it down the road a little bit, because conversely to what I'm speaking about now, how it gets marginalized in the fall and into the winter sometimes. Dude, when the NBA finals or the NBA playoffs are happening, it's all eyes. We're all locked in, myself included. It is so cool. And if you just kick that into January or July, I think that's a really, really would be a great opportunity for the NBA. So that's that. Forget about Cooper Flagg playing point guard, because there's another thing I wanted to talk about that's a little more pressing. Last night, yesterday it came across my feed. Chris Russo was on the Sports Media podcast. I think it was the Sports Illustrated Media podcast with Jimmy Traina. Awesome duo there. Mad Dog goes on his show every so often and just kind of breaks down what's going on with his perspective in the world of sports media. And excuse me. And he was talking about how Molly Qerim left First Take. And, that's why Mad Dog's the best, because if you get him, on his platform, if you called into Chris Russo and tried to get him to talk about Molly Qerim, he's going to be quick enough and smart enough to know, I'm not getting caught up in this situation. He's in control. It's rare that he is the subject and fielding questions. Now, when he goes on this Jimmy Traina podcast, Sports Illustrated podcast, I think Mad Dog knows it's going to be more open-ended, and he probably is more willing to talk about some of this stuff. And I really think he kind of gets a kick out of maybe dropping some Easter eggs, right? Or sprinkling a little bit of knowledge and gossip out there. And he did this 2 days ago. He said that, in his opinion, Molly was going to be moved off of First Take. And by moving her off First Take, they weren't necessarily going to let her go, but they were probably going to put her on Sports Center, what would be viewed as a demotion, because that show is a killer, First Take. Now, I don't know, Molly Qerim's been on that show for 10 years. And apparently she has or had an amazing relationship with Stephen A. Smith. And the way that Mad Dog put it was her ego got in the way. And the moment that, she did not want to hang around and be a lame duck till the first of the year, which I understand. And I thought Molly did a terrific job. I don't think there was any reason to replace her, but I have no clue what's going on, in that situation behind the walls at Bristol. They announced this morning that Shea Cornett is going to take over. I think that is a tremendous hire. First of all, I got home, I called a volleyball game last night with the great Faith Lynch. You can check out her Dear Sports podcast on the Rogue Media Network, and make sure you watch her, Scotty Swingler, and Matt Mosley leading up to the Baylor TCU game on the Green and Gold show. You can catch on the Rogue Media Network as well. But I got home from the volleyball game last night, and I said, you know what? It's an autumn night. Let me just put on SportsCenter. There's so much going on. There was actually only one playoff game, and it was a blowout, baseball. And that there was some like Wednesday night college football. And SportsCenter was actually a lot of fun. It was Shea Cornette and the older guy with salt and pepper hair. He kind of reminds you of Kenny Mayne, but he's not Kenny Mayne. He's been there forever. The two of them were kicking ass, right? And I was thinking to myself, man, like I saw her do First Take a little bit, and I think she did it yesterday morning, which, by the way, like if you think your job is hard, which it probably is, okay, but like that's a kind of a heavy lift for Shea Cornette. She's doing First Take in the morning, which there's just energy and stress and excitement that comes with that. And then you got to do your regular SportsCenter commitment at 11 o'clock or whatever later on that evening. Like props to her. I had to do Inside the 12 yesterday morning, this show and a volleyball game. And you would have thought I was returning from storming the beaches at Normandy by the time I got home. Okay. I can make it look easy on the air, but trust me, when I get home, it's either Christy or Sadie, the dog, my dog, who's hearing it from me about how exhausted I am and how tired I am and how overwhelmed I am. But I watched Shea Cornette on SportsCenter last night, and I was like, man, she's got, there's more to her. There's more left for her to do. And I think that this opportunity on First Take is a golden one for her. And I think she'll do great. I think she'll hit it out of the park. The reason I kind of brought this up though, back to the Molly Kieram thing, it's like, dude, what a rough business. Truly. Being a woman in sports media, what a rough business. Because, and you could say, oh, okay, Pete, what do you mean by that? She's a host. Forget if she's a man or a woman. I don't feel great about the fact, like, and I don't know what's going on again, but if what Mad Dog said rings true, like, what the hell's wrong with Molly Kieram remaining as host of that show? Why do you have to freshen it up? Is there an issue with the ratings? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. But as far as I know, that show is still a powerhouse. Did Molly get too big for her britches behind the scenes? I don't know. But again, that goes into, sometimes maybe I don't even want to go into there, but I'll say it. Do females get less grace if that's the case, right? And I get it. The show is about Stephen A. The show is about guys like Skip, right, who are no longer there. The show is about Mad Dog. I understand that. And you probably could get anybody to play point guard there, anybody of a certain ilk, right? And the old Howard Stern lesson, and this would go back to if this is at all on Molly's side of the street, it's like, hey, you have an unbelievable thing going here, right? Just go to work, kick ass at your job, and play the game a little bit. Don't be a sellout by any stretch. Play the game a little bit and keep it going. I would hate to think that she got in her own way, because like that opportunity when you are the host of First Take, and you have millions upon millions watching every morning, and that's a show like you're on in every locker room, right? That's the only show that really like active players kind of care about. Aside from now some of their own brethren who have these successful shows and podcasts that everybody talks about, right? Because what did Jeff Teague say, right? What did Pat Beverly say? But it's a powerhouse. So I hate to see Molly go, because I'm like a big fan of hers. Darby Brown reminds me of her a little bit too. Maybe they have the same look or something. But I'm bummed that Molly's gone. I am happy to replace her with Shea Cornette. I'm going to see Shea Cornette's husband next week, because I'll be at Big 12 Media Days for NBC. And he does a terrific job. He played hoops at Notre Dame, and now he's going to be a studio analyst for NBC this year. I look for his star to continue to rise, Jordan Cornette, because he does a terrific job. He was at ESPN. He may be doing like what I'm doing on a much greater scale, but, doing NBC and ESPN still. But I think I'm under the understanding that he's full-time NBC. Either way, they got a power couple over there. Congrats to the Cornettes. The Pete Sousa show is going to step aside now, so we are locked and loaded from when Pearlman gets here. Look, I'm a huge Jeff Pearlman guy. I've been riding with this dude since 1999. So read every book, listened. And you watch all the Press Box Chronicles, and I'll tell him a little bit of this, but I think you guys know if you watch this show, I don't think there's anybody better. And for him to take his talents and bring them into Tupac and to create this amazing piece of literature on an iconic person who meant so much to people my age and even people Scotty's age, right, Scotty? Yeah, you're not that young, Scotty. So, all right, we're going to take a break. We're presented by Slovacics. Jeff Pearlman is coming up next to talk about his new book, which will be in stores on the 21st of October. You can order it now. Only God Can Judge Me. It's Tupac. It's amazing. We'll be right back.
Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble does bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
It is the Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics. We are live in downtown Waco. By the way, as we approach basketball season, I can tell you, I'm always out on the trail out in Cameron Park. And I saw my man, calling a lot of Big 12 games. You see obviously you get to know a lot of the officials. And Keith Kimbrell lives here in Central Texas, big time official, Big 10, Big 12, SEC. And I always see him walking out by the trail. Great dude. To give him a little pound. And then I get to see him when I'm calling a game and before the game, be like, Keith, see you on the trail. He's a great dude. Looking forward to Big 12 Media Days coming up next week in Kansas City. All right, Jeff's here. Can we bring him in? There he is, Jeff Pearlman, baby. What's happening?
That's a tight shot on my head. How's life?
Dude, you're always tight, man. Any way we can get you, we'll take you. By the way, this occurred to me as we were getting ready to do this. On this media tour, you will only be interviewed by one person wearing a Press Box Chronicles t-shirt.
Oh my God, I didn't even notice. Look at that, sucker. You overpaid. Whatever you paid, you overpaid.
No, man, I got my money's worth. It's sick. Thank you so much for joining us. The book is Only God Can Judge Me. It's in stores on the 21st. It is, you compare this. I love how you do this because I remember this when Garth Brooks became Chris Gaines, right? And it was a total flop. He had this alternate identity that he came up with and produced an album at the height of his fame.
Yep.
And you said this felt like that to you. Can you describe how?
I mean, I hope sales are better than the greatest hits of Chris Gaines, Garth Brooks' album. I don't know. You know, I really like that album. It was a good album. I swear to God, it was a good album. This is like 25 years ago. And, but nobody bought it. And people are like, why is this guy doing this? Why, you're Garth Brooks? Why would you do it? And my agent had a very similar reaction to me writing a Tupac book at the beginning. And my agent's awesome, but he's like, why do you want to do that? Why you? And I'm like, because nobody's written the Tupac book I want to read. Nobody's done the deep dive. So I just thought I'll do my Chris Gaines, I'll do my Garth Brooks, and I'll give it a try and see what happens. So here I sit. Garth Brooks, however, wore a wig, and I'm just a balding middle-aged man.
By the way, you keep in real good shape. Do you do anything? Because when you came on with Ariel, I saw that. And Wally, he commented on that right away. He's like, wow, California, you don't look like the caveman sports writer. Do you walk out there like anything you do?
Play basketball, I go to the gym. Also, it's California, so you can be outside all the time. Everyone's always surprised because I'm always kind of tan, but it might just be my natural glow from I don't know, from having 2 kids in college and out of the house. I don't know, you know.
Well, you should be glowing right now because this media tour is like a celebration of your work. And part of the tour included a stop on All the Smoke. And to me, dude, I got chills yesterday listening to that, to the point where I had to go watch it because I had to see who Davon Hodge really was, right? And I grew up, dude. That was one of the first music videos, the black and white, Tupac with the UNLV cap on, talking about Brenda's Got a Baby. And I was like, what the hell is this? And it was one of those things. It was outside of, Same Song and Tupac coming through with Digital Underground. That was the first, like his first entree into my life. You dug into that actual story of Brenda's Got a Baby, and you open up the book talking about how you found this dude. Can you expand on that amazing story?
Yeah. First of all, the person who deserves the most credit is a genealogist I work with, who I happen to attend high school with, named Michelle Sully. And Michelle and I, she's helped me with a lot of books. She's the best genealogist in the world. I'm not even just saying that. And I've always been fascinated by Brenda's Got a Baby. It's a song. Basically, Tupac is filming Juice, and he's reading an article one day in 1991 about a 12-year-old girl in Brooklyn in the Noble Drew Ali housing unit who was raped by a cousin. Nobody knew she was pregnant, delivered the baby on the bathroom floor, wrapped the baby up in a plastic bag, threw the baby down the trash heap. It's the day the trash is compacted. A guy who works in the building hears a baby crying before it goes off, goes in, finds a baby. Tupac reads this article in the Daily News. It was called Cries in the Night. And he's so moved by it, he goes back into his trailer and just writes, Brenda's got a baby, but Brenda's barely got a brain. The damn shame. The girl can hardly spell her name. And it's based on this story. Now, in the song, Brenda dies, prostitute, and she wasn't a prostitute found slain, and Brenda's her name. She had a baby. I was fascinated by the origins of this song. And I said to Michelle, I was like, do you think we could find the baby? Is that even a thing? And I sent her the article. And a few days later, she's a magician. She sent me a number. She's like, I think this is him. And I texted the guy, and I was like, hey, this is kind of random and blah, blah, blah. But by any chance, are you this baby? My name is Jeff Pearlman. I'm working on a book about Tupac. And he wrote back basically, holy cow, give me a call tomorrow. And he lived in Las Vegas, and we talked, and I drove to Las Vegas to meet him. And he's awesome. Davon is a wonderful, wonderful, awesome guy. And we talked at length, and basically he was adopted after that happened. His parents moved to Las Vegas. He moved to Las Vegas. A couple years ago, his parents both died. He did an ancestry search, and all of these ties come back to the Noble Drew Ali housing unit in Brooklyn. And he starts reaching out to people, and they're like, holy crap, we've been looking for you. Holy crap, we were wondering what happened to you. Holy crap, this is a miracle. And then they're like, do you like Tupac? He's like, I love Tupac. He likes Biggie more, but he loves Tupac. And they're like, we think the song Brenda's Got a Baby is about you. Well, he's blown away. I find him. He hasn't seen his mother since he was a very, very, very young boy. I say to Michelle, it'd be amazing if we could find the mom. Michelle Sully is the best genealogist on the planet. I kid you not. A few days later, she thinks she has a number. She reaches out to her, to the woman. He's like, is this Janine? She's like, yes, who is this? My name's Michelle Sully. Explains a few things and says, we're working on this book, and we found we think we have your son. And she starts crying and screaming. You found my baby. You found my baby. I've been looking for him for 30 years. And she's screaming and crying. She says, oh my God, I live in Newark, New Jersey, but I'm away from home. And she's like, oh, why are you away from home? She says, I'm going to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers. She says, oh, where are they playing? She goes, Las Vegas. And they met up that night and reunited.
I mean, that's amazing. And the dude, what makes it really cool, Jeff, is he seems like an amazing guy.
He's the best. And
yeah, I mean, he just seemed like such a cool dude. And I want to read this quote because this is major props to you. You say it yourself before the press box every time, a middle-aged Jewish sports writer. So now you're this middle-aged Jewish sports writer diving headfirst into the hardcore world of hip hop, where there could be a credibility issue, right? Off the top.
Of course. And there should be. There actually should be. That is a fair question to ask. Yeah.
Yeah. And here's what he said about you. This is Davon Hodge on the All the Smoke. Jeff is definitely a genuine reporter. You know the old school movies where you watch the reporters, the ones that make the phone calls, the ones that don't try to set you up or get you. They actually try to understand and want to understand. Jeff is one of those people.
Yep.
I would imagine that as a journalist with integrity like yourself, that's got to be one of the greatest compliments you could get.
It really is, because I talk about this a lot. Like, this job, it's a complicated job, and you're talking to people. And the truth of the matter is, you are trying to get people to talk to you and open up to you about things they normally wouldn't open up about. And sometimes you do feel sort of slick. And sometimes you do feel like, is this right? Is this good for this person? Am I bettering this person? I mean, serious. We all have these. If you have any kind of soul in you, you have these journalistic questions you ask yourself. So when he said that and I was sitting next to him, I mean, it genuinely meant a lot, because the last thing I want to do is have this guy have a miserable experience because he happened to meet a guy who was writing a Tupac book. So it meant a lot to me.
Yeah, you kind of have improved his quality of life right now. The book it's sad, as you've said.
Mm-hmm.
You've said you felt the sad emotion. I think just from listen, I haven't read it yet, right? Because I didn't get a pre-sale copy, but next time I'm going to hit you up for that. Okay.
You should have. Yeah.
So I cannot wait, but I've listened to all the stuff about it. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like, I mean, I knew Afeni Shakur was a crack addict. Your mom is a substance abuse counselor, or was. I'm 14 years sober. There's nothing like an absolute harrowing addiction, right? And I think it's hard for people who don't know that type of world to understand it. Do you feel like that crack addiction sort of bred, and I don't want to say hatred, but anger in Tupac and his sister Set, where that's where a lot of the rage we saw came from?
First of all, 14 years sober is no small thing. That's really amazing. So mazel to you. For real. I really mean that.
Thanks, brother.
I think more than anything, it produced a very profound sadness and disappointment in Tupac, because Tupac's hero, and he would say it a million times, was his mother. His mother should be taught in American history classes. And I really mean that. She was a member of the Black Panthers. There's a very famous trial, the Panther 21 trial, where she happened to be 21 years old, pregnant with Tupac. 21 members of the Black Panthers were put on trial in this BS trial in New York City. And she turned down a court-appointed attorney and represented herself while being shuttled to the courthouse every day from jail while she was pregnant and malnourished. So every day she's representing herself, and she winds up winning this case. It's absolutely amazing. So Tupac, this is her hero. And everyone he talks to, he brags about my mom. My mom was a Black Panther. My mom, Panther 21, representing herself. And at the same time, he's watching her battle addictions. And it is crushing to him that this woman he holds up here is down here. And there's one point where he's supposed to fly to Atlanta, and he sent $300 to fly to Atlanta and help with a political movement, and the money's gone, and his mom used it to buy crack. Like, that's how bad it got. So I think he certainly was angry, but I think more than anything, he saw what it was to hit bottom. His family hit bottom. They were broke. They had rats running through their apartments. Their mom was away smoking crack. So I think less anger, more truly sadness and an understanding of what it was to be Black and poor and kind of hopeless in America.
Dude, and you describe it so well, just orating it, right? Like, he grew up in, at times, like a rat infested environment, but then he's going to this art school, and he is, this real sensitive dude, like that's learning how to dance and how to act. Who is this guy? I mean, is he the guy who personified thug life, or is he this soft guy with a huge heart who's an artist?
I mean, if you think about it, so the subtitle of the book is The Many Lives of Tupac Shakur. And if you actually think about it, if you really think about it, we all have these different existences we live, right? I always think about this when I go to a restaurant and the waiter's like, "Oh, can I get you more coffee?" But meanwhile, in the back, like, "Oh, I hope you had your meal." Oh, blah, blah, blah. And then meanwhile, they're checking their phone because their son is sick. But you don't see that side. You see the waiter side. I just think, and me, sports writer, there's sports writer side, there's dad side. We all have these duplicities of life. And I think Tupac was honestly had multiple sort of existences. He would go to this school, this awesome, awesome theater art school that he loved more than anything in the world. It's my favorite Tupac is Baltimore School for the Arts Tupac. He is this fluttering butterfly of a kid who is listening to Don McLean, and he's dancing to ballet, and he's just eating it up, and it's him. But then he goes home every night, and there's gunshots, and there's his mom's addictions, and there's the rats running along the floorboards. So I think when people are like, he was a poser, I'm like, no, he wasn't a poser. He was just living multiple lives. And the other thing about him is, and this is whether it's rap or rock or country or opera, you are a storyteller, right? So like when Tupac lived in Marin City, as an example, his mom was addicted to crack. He's living on his own. And he has this rap battle one day. He's this blooming rapper in Marin City. He goes by MC New York. And soon he switches, just goes by Tupac. He's MC New York. He has a rap battle one day. He gets his ass kicked by a 13-year-old rapper named Tack in front of a bunch of people. And he vanished for the week. And nobody knows where he is. And Tupac spent the week following around the most notorious badass crack dealer in Marin City, this guy, Bobby Burton. And he's with him for 5 days, taking notes, seeing what he does, watching how he operates as a gangster, as a dealer. And he comes back with this song he wrote called Days of a Criminal, which is just this hard, badass, one of the best songs any people there ever heard. So he was a student of what people were doing, no different than a journalist. And so you could be different people and be Tupac, I think.
How did he change when he got the role in Juice and had to kind of dive into Bishop? Because that, first of all, that was an amazing performance. I was so young when I saw it, probably like a freshman, sophomore in high school. I didn't understand how awesome he was. I just knew, like, God, this movie kicks ass. You watch it now and you're like, holy shit, that guy was amazing.
I would actually
argue, change it all?
He's better than the movie. Like, the movie's good and Tupac is amazing. You can actually say that every movie he's been in. Poetic Justice, we watched it recently, my wife and I. Poetic Justice is not a good movie. Tupac, amazing in Poetic Justice. Almost all the movies is in. Gridlock with Timothy Roth, not a great movie. Tupac, amazing. Gang Related, Jim Belushi, not a great movie. Tupac, amazing. I just want to say, Belushi told me, he's like, I honestly thought Tupac was 1 or 2 movies away from an Academy Award. Like, I thought he was that good of an actor. Did Bishop change him? I think it's undeniable, but I talked to, I had my Winning Time experience, and I actually talked to a bunch of people in Winning Time who are actors. And I was like, do you feel like a role can change who you are? You play a role, you're a method actor. Does it change who you are? And the general consensus was sort of, kind of. Like, it can, but it'd be a little weird if it totally changed who you are. So I think Tupac really liked the reception to Bishop. And I think he liked, like when he was in Marin City, he liked the respect drug dealers got. He liked the respect gangbangers got. Like, he liked that. And he wasn't that, but he liked it a lot. So I think Bishop, he put in a lot of what he was seeing around him into that character. And he definitely took some of that with him. And in fact, when he got back to Marin City after doing Juice, a friend of his named Ryan D, who was a rapper, told me Tupac shows up his first day back in Marin City, and he takes out a wad of $17,000 that he has in his money clip, and he has a pistol with him. And he said to me, this is the first time he saw him since he played Bishop. He goes, "That was a new Tupac to me. That was not something I recognized before." So it certainly impacted him. Certainly did.
Why was he such a bad drug dealer?
He just wasn't. He was too nice. First of all, he was a nice guy. He wasn't like, he didn't know where to stand. He didn't like. There was a guy in Baltimore who gave him a shot dealing drugs, and he was like, he basically made $25 in a month. Like, he didn't know what he was doing. And also, like, I don't think it was him. Like, I don't think it was him. This is a little bit of a guess, but like, if your mom is a drug addict, it seems kind of hard to also want to deal drugs, you know? And I think he probably liked the idea of it and the idea of quick money. But I don't think some people have it in him. I don't think he really had it in him to deal drugs.
You write about, or you've spoken about, resentments for Biggie growing when he was in prison for a little while, when Tupac was. Yeah. And that it was almost like a manufactured. Honestly, Jeff, it reminded me of how Michael Jordan would create resentments against opponents, right? The shit that wasn't true. And to make him just go for their neck. What was that all about? What was that based on, that hatred that he really kind of worked on and manicured towards Biggie?
Well, I mean, the genesis is Tupac was shot in the lobby of Quad Studios. And this is when he was going to go up to help a pretty obscure rapper. He was going to do a verse on a Lil Sean song, and he was going to make $7,000 because he really needed money. And upstairs, Puffy was there, Biggie was there, Andre Harrell was there, a bunch of guys were there. Tupac is basically jacked in the lobby, goes up, and all those guys are there. And they're wearing jewelry, and his jewelry was stolen in the lobby. And his whole thing was, how could Biggie not have known, right? How could Biggie not have known? It doesn't even make sense. How would he not have known? And I don't know anyone who actually thinks Biggie was involved in the Quad Studios robbery, including Tupac advocates, including Tupac's former manager, Watani. And when he's in prison, he's building it up and building it up. And everyone he talks to, he's like, effing Biggie, F Biggie, blah, blah, blah. And twice Biggie tried to visit Tupac. He tried to visit him after the shooting in the hospital, and they weren't taking visitors because he wasn't in good shape. And then he tried to visit him when he was at Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora, New York, went through his manager, Watani, and Tupac said, "F that guy. I'm not letting that guy here." So I think Biggie, I'm certain Biggie had nothing to do with it, but I think Tupac was convinced he did.
When Tupac, links up with Suge Knight and things really start to move in a different direction, really what feels like a dangerous direction, was he like on almost like a pink cloud when he got out of prison? And, obviously Suge, it's Tupac's money, but he uses money, that Tupac would eventually pay him back to get him out. And then reality seems to set in, and Tupac's like, what the hell am I involved in here? He's hanging out with these guys that are involved with hardcore gangs. Can you describe that a little bit, that relationship?
Yeah. I mean, Tupac, the thing about Tupac is he gets out of prison. When he's in prison, he does this really interesting interview with Kevin Powell, the writer Kevin Powell, and he swears off thug life. He's like, I'm done with this. I kind of want to get back to my roots, who I was. His first album in particular, Tupacalypse Now, was a very sort of black empowerment album, stand up for yourself, stand up to the police, etc. And he definitely got away from that. But he signs with Death Row, and Suge Knight is not getting Tupac out of jail to wear Afrocentric medallions and tell people to stand up for, solidarity. He doesn't want raps about UEP Newton. He wants a gangster album. And he paid a lot of money for Tupac to be here, at least in Tupac's mind. So I think Tupac really gave into that. A good friend of his named Kendrick Wells told me, like, he considers it the least Tupac album ever, that everything he rapped about on All Eyes on Me isn't really what Tupac represented. I don't know if I totally buy that, but that's what he said. I just think he got caught up in the idea of Death Row and what Death Row wants. And Suge Knight was putting all this money into him. He let him do the double album. He used the best producers. The album is incredibly well produced. And he starts rolling with Suge Knight. He starts going to events with Suge Knight. And ultimately, he's in Las Vegas at a Mike Tyson-Bruce Seldon fight with Suge Knight. And he winds up getting shot and killed with Suge Knight. So I just think Suge Knight was to me, I compare Suge Knight. The two guys I compare him to, honest to God, are Donald Trump and Don King, where he just uses people, convinces them that he cares about them and he loves them, and spits them out. And I think Tupac got spit out.
Yeah, and I think like when you talk about Suge Knight, like I've talked about, he's just like just a devious guy. He's a scary, dark figure. Whereas Tupac, I'm like, I'm not sure, you know? Like you said, there's many sides to someone. And you get older, you're like, yeah, your perspective shifts. Suge is a guy, whew,
No.
I mean,
I will tell you this.
Yeah.
Star defensive lineman at UNLV and played 3 games with the replacement Los Angeles Rams in 1987. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of, I played with Randall Cunningham, I think, right?
At UNLV. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
He played with Steve Stallworth. Steve Stallworth was the quarterback, not Randall. Yeah. No.
Look at you. I love it. See, this is why Pearlman's the best.
It
Okay,
is so, there's nothing that sums up my life. Nothing that sums up my life than telling you that when the quarterback at UNLV when he was there was Steve Stallworth.
I know. Thanks for straightening me out. All right, so let's get to literally a couple more things. I don't have too much more time with you. When you talk about Tupac and the night he gets shot and killed, you know, there is just insanity around that whole situation. And the fact that he would approach, what's the guy in the Merino jersey?
Orlando Anderson.
He's the guy that goes to fight Orlando Anderson. He's the meal ticket, the guy who everybody should be protecting, but they let him go in there. Suge and all those guys. What did you talk to 650 people for this book? I'm sure a lot of them were around this event, or some of them were. What kind of response or evidence did you uncover around that nutty night?
Well, you know, there's 8,000 conspiracies about what happened to Tupac. You know, was it Biggie? Was it Puffy? Was it Suge? Who was involved? Was it the FBI? To me, it's actually not that complicated. I know I'll catch heat for this, and that's totally fair. Basically, they're there for the Mike Tyson-Bruce Seldon fight. It's a quick fight. Tyson actually wrote the entrance song for Mike Tyson that night. So he walked into a Tupac song. Fight ends. Tupac's hyped up. You know, he's high. He's been drinking. He's totally, you know, all in. And they're in the lobby of the MGM Grand. It's Tupac and a bunch of death row guys. And he's next to a guy named Trayvon Lane. And Trayvon Lane recently had gotten in a fight at a Foot Locker with a bunch of Compton Crips, Southside Compton Crips, including this guy, Orlando Anderson. And he sees in the lobby Orlando Anderson, and he's wearing a damn Merino jersey. And Trayvon Lane says to Tupac, yo, that's the guy who stole my freaking chain. And I'm using freaking instead of the real words there. And Tupac goes, which one? And he goes, right there, that guy right there in the Merino jersey. Tupac walks up to him. He goes, you from the South? And he turns and he punches him. And then everyone jumps in. All the death row guys jump in. And they beat the crap out of Orlando Anderson. Now, later on that night, Tupac, they go to Suge's club, 662 in Vegas, and then they're driving around. And Orlando Anderson and a bunch of other guys, including Keefe D, his uncle, were looking for Tupac just driving around. And they see him hanging out of Suge's car, kind of hollering at women. And Orlando Anderson's like, yo, there's Pac right there. There he is right there. And they pull up next to him at the corner of Flamingo and Colville, shoots him. The reason I don't buy all the conspiracies, and this is talking with police officers, detectives, people are there, is let's say it was Puffy. Let's say you think it's Puffy. He would have had to arrange for Orlando Anderson to be in the lobby, Tupac to see him in the lobby, Tupac to then be inspired then the guy next to him to say, hey, that's him. Then Tupac counting on Tupac, walking up to him, punching him, and then finding Tupac later on as he's driving around. I know Puffy was very powerful. I know he put together Danity Kane, but there's no way in hell. It just doesn't make sense. So to me, it is Tupac. The working title of this book was actually In Waters Too Deep, because someone said to me early on, related to that, Tupac just waded into waters too deep for himself. And I actually do agree with that. And I think that was the example. There's no other artist in America, rapper, country, anyone, who's walking up to Orlando Anderson and punching him. And if he even tries to, someone from death row needs to grab him and say, do not do this. I got it. But they didn't.
2 more questions for you. Our man Dan Ingham's warming up in the bullpen at First National Bank of Central Texas, a regular spot we do here.
I'll be quick. I don't want to mess up the day.
Whatever, Jeff. All right, so I want to ask you about the song Hail Mary. It's my favorite Tupac song of all time. Is there anything that you uncovered or unearthed about that song, this is a selfish question for me. It has fueled me through times of difficult times, and it's helped me get motivated. That's all right. All the noise is fine.
You like Hail Mary?
Dude, it's my favorite. It's my favorite Tupac song. Yeah.
Oh man. Wait.
Yeah.
So to me, you know, it's actually Tupac in an interesting way as a biblical artist. Like he knew the Quran, he knew the Bible. He actually had a really religious knowledge that was kind of impressive. I don't have a great background to it. It took the guy 15 minutes to write, which is amazing. It's one of the best Tupac songs of all time. It's a great ring entrance song, but I don't
Great
have
ring entrance song.
I don't have an amazing Hail Mary story for you, except the guy wrote it 15 freaking minutes, which is unbelievable.
Okay, so 3 years ago, you came on this show when it was a nothing show, and it probably still is, but you were so generous with your time. We talked about Bo Jackson. As we finished up, I asked you what was next, and on your screensaver was a picture of Tupac. Are you good? Are you just putting your feet up for a little while, or is there anything you're sinking your teeth into next? Any breadcrumbs?
I'm writing a book that nobody's going to read. I'm doing a memoir of my early journalism career. It's just a passion project for myself.
I'm in.
2.5 years in Nashville and how big of a screw up I was. You might be you're the third buyer. I think my wife will buy a copy and I'll buy a copy. But Pete, you're in. Thank you.
I'm in, and we'll do this again when that comes out. Jeff Pearlman, thank you so much, dude.
All right, take care. Thank you.
All right, man. There he goes. One of my main men, one of my heroes, my all-time favorites, Jeff Pearlman. It's really cool when people you admire so much and you consume so much. And Christy, my fiance, has heard more Jeff Pearlman talking, most recently with Press Box Podcast. And before that, I guess the Mets audiobook. Yeah, he's just a tremendous writer, tremendous talent. And I'm very happy he is on planet Earth because he provides me much joy. How about Dan Ingham providing us joy? Let's bring him in. First National Bank of Central Texas. We open up the vault, and there he is. What's happening, Dan the man?
Not much. First of all, I got to say something. The correct answer to the best song ever, now it's not safe for work at all, is Hit 'Em Up. I mean, if you want to get fired up, as this song's going, please don't Google that with kids around. That's a problem. But Hit 'Em Up is that never ceases to get me fired up.
That will motivate you. Is that what you were listening to before you went to play golf on Monday?
No. No, it is not safe for work at all. So no, but yeah, I have. There's a time in my life that's what we listen to get fired up in the locker room. Again, not clean, not appropriate by any means, but oh, it's good.
It is a great song. That's a banger, as the kids say. Scotty, by the way, I want to tell you, Dan got in my head early on Monday when we were at the Bootstrap Classic. I'm going to the pro shop, right? I'm headed in the opposite direction. And Dan says to me, "Where are you going?" I said, "I got to get golf balls." He goes, "They gave us 3." I'm like, I'm going to need more than that, dude. I'm not, I'm going to need more than 3 golf balls.
Dan's been known to be a mad smack talker, and probably has a remarkable golf game.
How did you play on Monday, Dan?
No, I have not gotten to play as much golf as I'd like to lately. So I contributed maybe 5 or 6 shots to our team. So I think we did okay. But yeah, I was not the ace in our team by any means. I'm average at best. I'm like a 15 handicap. So yeah.
All right, so Dan is with us from First National Bank of Central Texas, like he is every Thursday. We want to dive into just some college football talk with you. Obviously, the former sports director here at KWTX in Central Texas for years. What have you seen from Baylor? Right now, we talked to you after Kansas State. They had a bye week. This is a game, the TCU game, that you covered forever, right? It's a rivalry that, for me, being not from around here, I'm starting to really comprehend and understand. In a game like this where the stakes are high and the rivalry is bloodthirsty, who do you think that atmosphere favors going into this game in Fort Worth?
I would think, just generally speaking, the home team. I think it's got to be that. With these kind of rivalries, unless it's Texas OU, that kind of thing, I don't think it reaches that level. It's a very big one. I don't know how big of a rivalry is for the players. I don't know the answer to that. But they've played in so many close games. It probably means a lot. It means a lot to the fan bases. There's no doubt of that. But I don't know. I mean, if you're TCU, they just need a win. I mean, they got to get back on track. If you're Baylor, you're trying to keep those, hopes of getting to the Big 12 title game alive. You got to get a win. So, I sound like a coach here. You just got to be focused on getting the W. But I think if you're talking advantage, it's probably the home team in this situation.
No, that's a really good point too. When you think about the fact that these guys, I always wonder about where the rivalry is for them, especially now in the transient nature of college football, where
bingo,
we got a holy war on Saturday night, and there's a bunch of guys who have transferred from BYU to Utah and Utah to BYU. And that's one of the most hardcore rivalries on planet Earth, where the fan bases absolutely can't stand each other, but these players are passing each other like ships in the night, going to opposite directions.
It's a weird dynamic. So, I mean, I think if you're someone from the Metroplex or from the Texas on both these teams, which are most of the players, by the way, you probably understand that it's a big game, but it's not like I just don't think it's going to be as big a deal for the players. And this is at every school, by the way, as it is. It doesn't mean as much as the fans. They get crazy about the players. Obviously, they want to win, and they know that. I mean, everybody on campus is telling you better beat Baylor, that kind of thing. But it's just not the same for the players, I don't think.
Most memorable TCU Baylor game that you covered, boots on the ground. You're talking to coaches before, after the whole deal.
I think it was 2014, 20. I think it was the first year of McLean Stadium when it was like 60-58, 61-58, something like. Just an insane football game that Baylor ended up winning. An unbelievable game. That's got to be it. Yeah.
What do you remember about the end of that 2014 season? Because I can remember I was in North Carolina at the time, and I didn't know. I knew Baylor just from Mike Singletary and RG3,
sure.
And now here they are again, and it was like knocking on the door of the college football playoff with TCU. What do you remember about that? I mean, just that when I think about this rivalry, I think about that part of the history where both of these teams were pissed off they didn't get into that 14 playoff.
My memory is when Baylor won the last game of the season on their home field that year. The then commissioner of the Big 12 was there, and he had said, "All right, we're just going to say it's a tie between these two teams if they both win." And Art Briles did not like that one bit because they beat TCU, and the look that he gave the commissioner when he handed him the trophy was he was staring daggers through him. That's what I remember from that. He was ticked off, let me tell you, because he think it hurt them in perception. Because remember, perception still mattered a lot at that point, that kind of thing. That they weren't the one. And it's funny if you remember, Baylor or Big 12 had a one true champion, is what they called themselves, because everybody played everyone in one time in the regular season. So, but
they didn't have a championship game.
They were not one true champion, and he was so mad. And was it BB? I can't remember who it was. Yeah, the way he looked at him, you thought he wanted to kill him. Yeah.
And so that was how close was Baylor to getting into that college football playoff in your memory, and what was the disappointment like that Sunday when the teams were announced?
Look at that. That is some quick work right there, man. Scotty, well done, my man. Well done. I was about 20 feet away from that right there, and I'm not sure that even does it justice there.
And that's Bob Bowlesby, right?
Bob, thank you very much, Bob Bowlesby, who was put in a tough position, if we're being fair. But he did not do Baylor any favors right there. Or truthfully, he didn't do TCU any favors if they were the team that were, But I believe Baylor passed up TCU that week, but they were the last team out still. So they were the odd team looking out. Yeah.
Do you remember that Sunday or Monday, like what the coverage was like when like, because I can remember watching Art on ESPN pleading his case that 100%. Sunday, like about 100%. How screwed he got. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a strong memory of it because at that point I was more anchoring the morning show, but obviously it was a top news story locally. But I just don't have a strong memory. I just remember it was a hot discussion point. No doubt about it. And Baylor fans were, Baylor could score on anybody that year. And they had the kind of defense that you needed with that offense. Like Phil Bennett's defense would create turnovers and make plays that way. They weren't going to be an Alabama type defense, but they did enough to help. They could have done some damage in the playoff for sure.
All right, let's get to your pick of the week and I got news for you. We're about to do another pick segment here. And I dude, it's almost like you set the bar for me. I don't know that I've won at all. So this is a contagion.
But I think I won again last week. I think I got a little streak going here.
2 in a row.
That's right, baby.
Here comes the graphic. Drum roll, please.
When the red light is on it, when the season matters, that's when I get good. So a game I'm really looking forward to because I'm intrigued by this Texas Tech team, but I'm a big fan of Arizona State and a lot of the things that Kenny's doing there. So I'm actually going to take Arizona State. They're underdogs at home. You tell me you're giving me the defending Big 12 champ and 7.5 points at home. I'm going to take it. They have won 9 straight games at home, and Sam Leavitt looks to be returning at quarterback. So I'm going to go with Arizona State plus 7.5. I still think Texas Tech could win, but maybe it's a 1-score game. So I really like Texas Tech plus 7.5.
And I think that that anecdote about Sam Leavitt really is everything for the. Because they got smoked against Utah last week. I think Utah is good, and also they got smoked without Sam Leavitt. And I think that it's weird. It's one of those things like you kind of know how valuable he is now because he got hurt for a game last year and didn't play, and they got rolled as well.
Yeah.
Obviously he's essential to the operation, but I think he's essential to your operation this week too.
I think so too. But I mean, that also makes me think, well, maybe Texas Tech, because they took care of Utah, if you remember.
Yeah.
So maybe Texas Tech, and I think they're the real deal. I don't mean to say they're not, but you give me a quality team and I get 7.5 points at home, I'm going to take that a lot, you know?
Did you hear the rumor that Sam Levitt was playing basketball? That's how he got injured.
Oh man, come on, Sam. That's
what
when you play intramurals in January and February, brother. Come on now.
They said that something like that had happened, I guess, like a couple weeks ago, and he tried to play through it. That was the rumor, but Kenny Dillingham said no, that's not true.
If it is, I mean, it might have been just shooting hoops with some guys. I mean, that life happens, man. Yeah, that could have happened. So
you can't put him in bubble wrap, right?
No.
But you can put your money in First National Bank of Central Texas. Dan Ingham, thank you so much. This is perfect, dude, doing this over Zoom. Next Thursday, you good?
I'm in, my man.
All right, we will talk then. Thanks so much, Dan.
All right, go hit him up.
Hit him up, baby. We finish like we start. Dan Ingham, that was amazing. All right, we're going to take a break. We've got our main man, Kevin Hall. Whenever I say Kevin Hall, I feel like a wrestler. And when you see Kevin's face, if you forget what he looks like, he is a wrestler. I learned he was a pastor before all this. What kind of church was that? Who knows? Maybe we can find out when we come back. The Pete Sousa Show is presented by Slovakia.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
Experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
BosleyMD.com.
Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress, that helps you calm down and feel better. You sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Dive into adventure with Scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust Scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at Scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at FullwellFertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at GEVI.com to discover more.
It's the Pete Sousa Show.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Sousa to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Sousa. That's SOUSA. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Pete, I always forget because of the way we run the audio. I have to pull your video up. We did this 2 weeks ago, remember? And nobody could hear me.
Visceral let us know.
StreamYard, man. StreamYard. Underdog. It's not just something we promote. It's something I play every single week. And in just a minute, we're going to make some NFL picks. I want to show you my NFL picks this week on Underdog. And if you want to take advantage of that promo code Sousa, maybe you can make some of these same picks or just put in the same set of 3, and maybe we will all win some money together. Here's what I've got for Sunday's matchups. And I lied. In fact, I said Sunday, but one of those games, that Pitt Cincinnati game is tonight, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah, it is.
That's tonight's matchup, right? So look, make these picks immediately, because one of mine here, Aaron Rodgers, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns against a depleted Cincinnati Bengals team. That just feels like taking candy from a baby. Rodgers having an outstanding season with the Steelers, kind of quietly, actually.
Right? I was about to say that.
Drake May, who is climbing in the MVP odds in Las Vegas, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns against arguably the worst team in the NFL. They play the Tennessee Titans. And then I've got Jaden Daniels, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns as well. You guys know how much I think Daniels is just one of the best players in the NFL. They're playing Dallas, and we all know what that secondary's played like. So for all 3 of these guys, Rodgers, May, Daniels, I'm taking higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. I think all of them do it. I used a flex pick on Underdog, so if only 2 of these happen, I win money. If 3 of them happen, I win more money. It's a great way to play on Underdog. Use that promo code Sousa. That's that guy's name. And when you put in $5, Underdog will give you $50 in bonus cash to play with, just cuz.
Scotty, amazing job. By the way, the lighting over there looks great. I mean, seriously.
Wow.
Or maybe you just look refreshed.
Yeah, you know how refreshing of an evening I had last night. So
no, but you do look great. That's good lighting. I mean, because it's been like, the studio here. It's like the Gremlins.
I think the angle helps.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had this set up. We did some feature interviews this week.
Oh, that's why, because you had Deer Sports up here.
We had Faith up here. We had Ascension Providence up here for the Mosley show. We've been doing all kind of stuff up here.
Dude, I called that volleyball game last night with Faith. Man, she is. I mean, that as an analyst on volleyball, like, she is so good. And
I buy that.
Like it's just really, she's really impressive because she knows the sport. And it's great because she's like 6 months away from playing the sport. So she is like jazzed during the game. She does a great job. All right, Kevin Hall does a great job with picks. And we're going to bring him in now as part of our Underdog segment. There he is. Check him out. Look at this guy. He's amazing. What a character. So, Kev, well, by the way, so you were a pastor.
Yeah.
Can I talk about this?
So I've been a youth pastor, worship pastor. Probably my greatest asset is what I refer to as a video pastor, where I got to edit and create graphics and all these things. And, it sounds silly to call it a pastor, but with my edits, I can make a large theological decision based on what I make people say. So, yeah.
It doesn't hurt that you look like Jesus either. So
I've gotten that a few times. Yep.
All right, let's get to the picks. I guess I'm struggling. So get us up to speed here.
All right. Okay. So last week, you ready? Everybody was on the Cowboys except this guy. I was the only one this past week to pick.
To be fair, I did say I would pick the Panthers against the spread.
Yep. Agreed. So y'all got that one wrong. And then Pete, you had the Jaguars, as did Liam and I. But Scotty got the Seahawks and called it. And then Pete, you got your first win calling the Packers over the Bengals, and Scotty picked the Bengals. So you got that one wrong.
Well, you remember my justification.
No,
Flacco had already beaten them once.
Right? Yeah.
That's not bad. That's not a bad angle.
In Colts circles, they're calling for Trey Hendrickson to be the third Bengal of the season to come on over to the Colts to rejoin Lou Anarumo. Just throwing that out there. And then everybody
in Indianapolis,
everybody had the Bucks against the 49ers, and they got that one down. That amazing Baker Mayfield run, looking like he's back at Oklahoma. And then Pete, you had the Lions, and Scotty picked the Chiefs, and the Chiefs looked to be doing Chiefs things again, including getting a little help from the refs. And then the Falcons just decided that they actually know how to play complete football against the Bills, and now the Bills are on a
I don't think any
two-game
of us
losing
picked the
streak.
Falcons, did we?
What's that?
None of us.
None of us had the Falcons. Not across the board, either y'all's picks or ours. And so that puts Liam and I are now 19-17. Rough couple weeks for us, and y'all happen to join in on these rough couple weeks. So, Pete, you got your first win. You got your second win, but that only means
this is by the way an abomination on my part, because we're not even using point spreads. And if you remember, early in the season, I was like, "Oh, we got it. We're not using spreads. Like, this is child's play." I'm 2-10, dude.
2-10. Scotty though, 5-7. On the weeks where we've had the most upsets, back to back.
We got to bounce back. We got to bounce back.
So
I need a winning record.
You end up in Texas, by the way.
That is a long story. This short answer is we were looking to move out of the Pacific Northwest, and my wife got on a wrong Facebook group, and the second comment was somebody who had a ranch in Texas we could move to. So
where were you living in the Pacific Northwest?
We spent 2 years outside Eugene, and then a year in Central Texas outside Bend, or Central Oregon outside Bend.
It's amazing up there.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Politics, not so much. But we'll leave that one out of there. All right.
We can't now. You just said it. All right, back to the picks.
Okay. So here we go. This week's picks. All right. We decided not to go with geriatric bowl tonight with the two oldest quarterbacks in the league, and so we're going to start with the Rams at the Jaguars. Can the Rams survive losing Puka? Will Lawrence find what he's digging for?
I like Jacksonville.
All right. Jaguars again for Pete.
Scotty?
I'll pick the Rams. Matt Stafford leads the NFL in passing. No Puka is outstanding, but he still got Devontae Adams, brother, and Sean McVay calling plays. Give me the Rams.
That is true. This one is in Wembley, by the way. So,
that one is in Wembley.
Yeah, that one is in the Wembley.
So big Jaguars fans over there.
It's kind of a Jaguars home.
I'm switching. I'm going to the Rams.
He heard me talk about Matt Stafford.
No, I'm going with the Rams.
All right. A little cheat there, but that's all right.
Cheat? The game hasn't been played yet. I changed my mind.
All right. Sounds good. We bounce back and forth, so there can be no cheating, because literally the past every year that we have done this, Liam and I have been tied at the end of the season, and it's come down to a tiebreaker in the Super Bowl to actually decide the winner. That's how close we've
gotten.
I'm
going to win this shit. Come on.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Okay. This is going to be a tough one for Pete here. We got the Eagles at the Vikings. Eagles on a 2-game losing streak. Is it a Wentz revenge game with the Vikings, or can the Eagles bounce back and prevent a 3-game losing streak?
I hate this game.
Scotty's first. Hold on.
All right.
Bounce back and forth.
Yeah, everybody had written the Eagles off after like week 4 last season, and they end up going on this crazy run and winning the Super Bowl. They've got some serious issues and questions, but I think it's too good of an organization and too talented. I'll take Philly.
All right.
So this is an interesting one, because if you think about it, Carson Wentz was supposed to start in this building for the Eagles against the Patriots in the Super Bowl, but an injury obviously would not have that happen, so it was all Nick Foles. I think, God, I hate to say this, but I like Minnesota in this game. And I'm not saying that the Eagles season's going to fall apart, but I just like Minnesota and the ball bouncing their way at home in this game.
Wait, can I change my mind? I'm just kidding. I want Philly.
I need to go back and change my mind.
If I tell you the game
now
is on Pluto, you can change your mind, okay? I didn't know the game was at Wembley Stadium. Next game.
Oh, man. Okay. Incidentally, Carson Wentz is a great great guy. He went to church at the same church that I went to in Indianapolis.
No shot.
And
he lost the locker room.
He is a great, fabulous individual.
So is Nick
does
Foles, though.
great, amazing things in the community, no matter where he goes. Actually, has a food truck in every city he's played for. And now he's at his home place. So, all right, next game.
Yeah, in Philadelphia, it's called Old News.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that's the food truck. Go ahead.
Yep. Packers at the Cardinals. Are the Packers that good? Are the Cardinals actually that bad?
That's a good question. This is me first, right?
Yep.
Packers. No question. I'm not going to dilly-dally. Packers.
All right.
Agreed. That's the easiest one to pick for me this week.
Yeah.
The Cardinals do have an uncanny way of just losing games.
Dude, how about their coach? Did you see what he said?
No.
Did you guys see this? So he was asked this question, right? Gannon is their coach. He was with the Eagles forever. And they said, have you ever had a situation where he was asked a question like, has it ever been this difficult under center or one player and their fate could have changed, your season and how it's being determined. And he goes, yeah, in 2007 when our quarterback was arrested or went to jail. And he was talking about Michael Vick when he was with the Falcons. I was like, damn. So things are.
He's right, by the way.
It's really weird there in Arizona right now. I don't like the vibes at all, and I like the Packers.
All right, sounds good. Here we go. The Falcons at the 49ers on Sunday Night Football. Can the Falcons keep it rolling, or will the Niners be able to survive all of their injuries? And will Purdy be back? I don't know.
This one was the toughest one for me to pick.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Falcons.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with the Falcons. You guys know I have a Michael Penix agenda, and Bijan is finally starting to emerge with all that talent.
Bijan is Bijan.
Okay.
You got to pronounce it right.
Robinson is finally starting to emerge with all his talent. Give me Atlanta.
And incidentally, a Sunday night game in the Bay, it's still going to be golden hour. There's nothing quite like the look of those gold helmets in the golden hour at the start of that game. But,
last time I called a game here, me and Al had to actually wear masks. It was 2020. It was such a come down. I like San Francisco. There's no question about it.
Alrighty.
Dude, isn't it funny how Kevin is wearing his Indiana shirt and he's talking about, he's going to in a minute probably talk about how good the Colts are, but he's already waxed poetic about Carson Wentz. He's now waxed poetic about the 49ers. I think this guy just kind of like,
I think we have great football, and the 49ers are my other team.
That's fine.
So,
I'm nobody.
I used to crap on people who had other teams, and then I bought an Indiana football shirt.
Like who you like.
All right, here we go. 2 more to go. We got the Bucks at the Lions. 2 Monday night games to start to end off. So, who's the best in the NFC? We might find out this week.
So, am I first here?
Yes.
Okay, I like Detroit.
All right. Incidentally, the Lions.
This game in Wembley?
No, the Lions. It's in Detroit, which, as we discussed, it has not become the only. Or the only dangerous part is going into the stadium, not actually what you see in the stadium now. But the Lions are in their black uniforms with the blue helmets. Look good, feel good, play good.
All right.
So Pete's got.
I do like. Look, I like the Lions, and I think that we're going to see who this team really is here over the course of the next couple of weeks as we're in the middle of October.
I like the Lions, but the best player in the NFL this season is Baker Mayfield. The best team in the NFL this season is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm not betting against them until they prove me wrong. Give me the Bucks.
What about Bijan? He might be the best player.
No, it's Baker Mayfield.
Oh, okay. All right. I have my own thoughts on Jonathan Taylor and the best player, but here we go. Last game, that's Houston at the Seahawks. The last Monday night game. This is the only, I believe, late game where it's a full West Coast 10 o'clock Eastern start. So what would that be? That would be a 9 o'clock for Houston. Incidentally, you notice every other team I call by their mascot except for Houston. We just on our show refer to them as the team from Houston because the real team from Houston left when the Oilers left, and now the Colts have both of those teams in the same division. So we just trash on everyone. So it's just Houston. That's it.
Somehow my algorithm had me watching when Houston blew that wild card game in '93 against Buffalo last night. Man, what a comeback, dude.
Yeah.
Holy crap. All right, Scotty, you're first in this one.
Yeah, this one's easy. The Seahawks are the sneakiest good team in the NFL. Jackson Smith and Jigba leads the NFL in receiving, and he's on my fantasy team. Thank you very much. Seahawks big.
Although Houston did put up 44 points right before the bye week. So
I'm going to say it again.
There's that.
Seahawks big.
Sounds good.
But Jalen Petrie might get another interception. That dude's balling out this
He
season.
is a bad dude. Well, look, I'll tell you who's going to win. The fans. Because Chris Fowler's calling the game. Okay. So check there. As far as the game is concerned, I like Seattle.
All right. So we did the pick six. Do you want an extra point?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to catch up to y'all.
All right. Yes, exactly. So we don't pick the Colts game on our pick six because we give our predictions on our preview show, which will be tomorrow on our channel, All Indiana Sports. And so you guys get to pick it right here, and maybe I'll steal some of your stuff. So the Colts go to the Chargers. The Chargers are in their brand new, what they call Charger Power uniforms, which is basically a all yellow unitard. And so the uniform people on Twitter have been calling for the Colts to pull out their all Indiana Knights. So you won't have all white helmets. You get a black helmet, but then you get yellow unitards versus blue unitards. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Back when they came out with the Indiana Knights, we've been calling for black uniforms for the Colts for a while, and then they gave us heather blue.
All right. Well, look.
Will Harbaugh be able to beat his old team? Can the Colts prevent
old team?
An 0-2 record in SoFi Stadium this season? They've only had 3 road games, and 2 of them are in SoFi.
Well,
Crazy.
dude, you know, it's funny. We had Nick Pickett came on our show. Remember a couple weeks ago, Scotty? He was telling the Chargers.
You know how I feel about Nick Pickett.
Yeah,
Love that
Nick's
guy.
the man, but they have sucked since then. So I'm going to take Indianapolis. I'm going to until I've actually lost some money on the Chargers recently. So until they can earn my trust back, screw them. I'm
There
going
you
with
go.
the Colts.
This one's tough. You know, if Baker Mayfield doesn't win the Super Bowl, Justin Herbert might. He's dating Madison. What's her face?
Madison Beard.
Yep. Let's go with the Chargers.
Did I say that too fast?
I also,
for a guy who's almost 50?
you said that pretty fast. I also just want to keep increasing my lead over Pete here. I was leaning Chargers. If he's taking the Colts, I'm definitely taking the Chargers.
There you go. If record would show anything, you want to avoid what Pete is dishing out.
For now. For now. It's October. Hey, by the way, Kevin. Okay,
yeah.
So that's a great. You're done your portion of this.
Yeah.
Okay. While we have you, I think I want to make this a regular part of our segment with Kevin. Give me a Caitlin Clark vibe check. Like, what's going on? What are people like? What's going on with the WNBA with as far as the player and the players union and the league, and also where does Caitlin stand on all that?
I think Caitlin is pretty much staying out of it, as she should. I think she makes enough money other places. She doesn't need to have a whole lot of skin in the game. I will refer you to Sophie Cunningham and her podcast, where she said that the league absolutely does not value them as players at all, in not only in the sense of what they're saying, but how they're just not even communicating at all in the negotiations of the CBA and things like that. And I think I've heard some Adam Silver backing Kathy, and I don't know if that's great look for Adam Silver in the NBA either, because of how far the divide is between the players who seem very all united and Kathy and her team.
Is there going to be a work stoppage here? Like, are they going to screw this up?
Oh, the players are already saying this is absolutely what's going to happen if we can't get what we think we deserve.
Do you know? And I'm putting you on the spot. Do you know when that agreement runs out? Like, what ballpark? Like,
I do not know for sure. But I know, the season kind of gets rolling April-ish. I think the draft is in April.
Yeah.
Early
So it's
April,
going to, around then. Before,
yeah.
Dude. And so,
everyone everyone except the rookies that have come on within the last 3 years, I think 4 years. If you're still on your rookie contract, you're under contract. Everyone else lined up the end of their contract for this year right now. So every single big name WNBA player you can think of. Kelsey Plum, Asia Wilson, Copper, like all the stars, they're all free agents and they can all go anywhere, but they're all waiting for this to happen.
What is Sophie Cunningham going to do? Is she coming back to Indiana?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that it makes the most sense for the Fever to keep everyone together.
Yeah.
They went through so much last season with injuries and everything like that and the adversity. So I think it makes sense for her and Lexi and Kelsey Mitchell to all come back. I mean, Kelsey Mitchell, honestly, if she was a few minutes away from being able to be in the finals and making her way past all of the other MVP candidates, that's what's crazy.
Yeah. All right. He's Kevin Hall, all Indiana sports, right?
Yep, you got it. Can I talk about what we've got?
Yeah,
all right.
By all means, Kevin,
all right.
at this point, yeah.
So here we go. I'm not sure if you realize this. I know Scotty did because he took his shirt off yesterday. IU football kind of had a big week. And so they ended the longest home winning streak in college football, beat the team that hasn't lost in the Big Ten since they joined the conference 2 years ago. We'll talk about that tonight, as well as what IU's future looks like moving forward. And then the Colts gutted out a win against the Cardinals against an ex-Colts quarterback who took over for the early retirement of Andrew Luck. But then they go against, another Colts quarterback in Jim Harbaugh. What are the chances that by week 7 you have 3 road games, like I mentioned, and 2 of them are in the same stadium out west? It's crazy. So we're going to talk about that on Friday. And then
you're going to a third topic now. Your leash is awfully long. Let's go.
The NBA season is right around the corner.
Why don't you just read the rundown, Kev?
The NBA season is right around the corner, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have some surprising takes on how we think the Pacers won't miss a beat.
Okay. I'm excited. Look, I talked at the top of the show. I'm not crazy about the NBA season starting on the 21st of October, but whatever. It is what it is. I think it's far too early. Are you going? Last question. Are you going to Fort Worth for this Green and Gold show?
I am. Yep. Okay. Scotty dragging me along.
All right. So that is going to be at what time, Scotty? On Saturday morning?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. The great Faith Lynch. Kevin Hall will be on the scene, producing. Scotty will be there, producing it on the air, and of course Matt Mosley. So check that out. It's a huge rivalry game. I can't wait. I'll be watching. I just found out I got TCU West Virginia the week after that. So I need to know all the West Virginia or TCU, excuse me, that I can. All right, that's it. The Pete Sousa Show. We're presented by Slovacics. We'll be back tomorrow. So I've had to bug up my ass about these coaches, right, that are getting fired all over the place in the middle of the season. So I'm calling in one of my all-time favorite coaches off the bench tomorrow, Dave Steckel, longtime defensive coordinator for Missouri under Gary Pinkel, and one of the most just brilliant college football defensive minds that has ever graced the sidelines. And now he's an analyst for ESPN, but we're going to get him for about 20 minutes tomorrow. Talk about college football coaches getting fired, what the deal is with that, and also we're going to go into the college football weekend. The Pete Sousa Show, once again, presented by Slovacics. Come on, like, subscribe, watch the videos. The podcast version of this show is rolling. Check that out, okay? Really, I mean, just download it, whatever, and it'll populate. Listen to it on your way home from work, so you don't have to crash trying to get the YouTube going. All right. The Pete Sousa Show. Once again, we'll say Slovacics, and then we'll say goodbye.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level when we shut down to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Show. Sports.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
Sports.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.